Well, welcome to Beans, Brews and Bread for September. I've had loads of things going on. That a video for a while, but so much to do down at the plot and other things going on. But we managed to get things tidied, some harvests taken, some things put away, and also some things put in as well. So let's go and have a look. Those gets! So down at the start of the plot, we managed to get these leeks in about a month and a half ago, but we've had a bit of something nibbling at it. Not quite sure. I think that might be the leaf miner. Really should have got them covered up with some mesh, but I didn't have enough space really because they're so close to the edge really to get anything down without. I was thinking to crush the leaves, but we've probably got about a 25% hit rate on that, so we'll see what we get. They might not even bulk up as far as I can tell till we get towards the end of autumn and into winter. So comments below, do you think that's the allium leaf miner there that's been having a chew? I think it's pretty possible, and some rust as well on some of them. So never mind, eh? We live and learn. Next row was a bit more successful. We had some of the seed tape which we put down for some beetroot, or very last sowing for the year. Germination was very patchy, so we did get a few more sown of the Boltardy variety and Boldor, the golden. Was it Burpees Golden possibly? So a few rows of those down the end, so we might get a few before the end of autumn. But yeah, some nice ones here. We'll get a few, if nothing else, so we'll get a couple, some, group sown, take the smaller ones, see how we go. And a little bit more successful. Look at those carrots. That was again more seed tape which we put down. And I'm really happy with that. We've got some really positive looking germination there. A few spotty patches, but we've sown a few more in. And I've really kept this one well weeded, so seeing how this sort of row system kind of works, I'm finding it a little bit better than doing it in beds, to be honest. I can get the stirrup hoe down through the middle, and then a bit of sort of hand and sort of finger weeding in between them by standing either side of them. So I think it's looking pretty good. Yeah, okay, you're standing on the soil a bit, but I think we're doing pretty well. So see how those carrots do. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we've actually now passed the time now for carrot fly. If not, do give me a warning down in the comments. But we'll see how they go. Now, a big gap there where we had the sort of second and salad potatoes taken out, but we've got the main crop variety here, which I've nipped the tops off, so hopefully we don't have any blight travelling down into the tubers. I'm going to do a reveal video for that, which I'll post at the same time as the tour video for this month, so do go and have a look at that video, see what kind of yield we got on the main crop potatoes. So fingers crossed we get a more surprising yield than we thought we might. And next to that, we've got a bit of space here. I'm trying to cut down on some of the use of plastics on the plot if I can, so a bit of spare chicken wire from the compost bins, which I'm hoping to use for some spring cabbages, which we'll, I think, put down here. We've got some growing at home. We're going to prick those out and see if we can get those planted before it gets too cold. If we don't get any, we don't. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of something. So fingers crossed. After that, Crimson F1 tomato varieties are still pumping the tomatoes out. So impressed with these this year. We had a few last year, but just this one row, we've just not had to buy any tomatoes this year at all. Particularly the cherry varieties. Loads of plums, which we're making into sauce, and canning a few as well. So yeah, see how they come. Maybe struggling a bit there at the end. Hadn't really kept up with the Florida weave, as you can tell. So they've kind of sprawled a little bit, but we've got the space to do it this year. So very happy with that. Very successful tomato season this year. So I think we'll be doing that again. Well, I hope you've liked the video so far today, the tour. Plenty still to be going on, so wait till the end. I've got a few more things to show you. Hope you liked it. If you have, do give it a thumbs up sooner rather than later, because it does help the video get noticed and shared around. And if you do give it a thumbs up, I can guarantee you 25% better ripening on your late tomatoes than last year. Don't think it, but give it a try. Give the like button a boop. Now down here we have some pretty good germination on the turnips which I put in. We are now pretty much past sowing time for turnips, but we did get some germination down here. There's a lot of weeds as well though, so I'm going to have to try and work out where the line has gone for the turnips, which I think we could say starts from about here. And some are more turnipy looking than others, so there's even what looks like some spring onion seeds in there of all things. So yeah, try and give that a weed and a sort through. Next to them, a bit more success on the cabbages. These are late sown. We've got some swede at the back, which aren't doing too bad. Some are better than others, like that one's looking pretty good. And that one, I get a couple. We've got some Filderkraut in the middle. Might do something, might not. A few have struggled, like that one there. But some have definitely taken. I've got some little mini cauliflowers at the front all the year round. But look at this. Self-sown spinach. I can't believe it. Spinach this year was terrible, even though we put them under those cloches. But look, we've got some self-sown spinach. That's a bit annoying. So, never know, I might give them a harvest, or maybe transplant them across somewhere else. Next to them, we've got some of this dwarf green curled kale. That is really romping. Very happy to see that. We'll get some of that hopefully before Christmas. And then just a couple of plants of Nero de Toscana, the Tuscany kale, which hopefully we'll get a few harvests off those. But I don't know. We'll see how things go on that. But managed to keep the pigeons and the cabbage white butterflies off, so very happy for that. I've managed to get some saved compost from the harvesting and some of the weeding as we've been going along. So yeah, thistles going in there and everything. So nothing's gone too much to seed as far as I can tell. It won't get very hot. It will be very weedy, but it's very difficult to get a concentrated amount in one go, unfortunately, on the plots. So I'm thinking, as we did last year, which we used for ridge cucumbers, we'll break that old compost down, and here where we've got these two containers, we'll break these down and we will make another compost pile and dig for victory style. So yeah, watch this space. Over here with a sort of Mediterranean veg bed, we've had a few. I'll take one today, a Romanesco courgette, but a star of the show, the tromboncinos. Absolutely brilliant, looking really good. Hopefully we'll get a few to save. I've still got one saved from last year, of all things. So with the rain, we've managed to get a few bulk up. And we've had a little, harvest of courgettes this year, so fingers crossed we'll get a few more. Unfortunately, we didn't sow quite as many Blue Lake French beans as I would have wanted this year, so might leave these for seed. We've had a couple of harvests off them for fresh stuff, but yeah, I think we might save a few of these for the seed this year, because I do like the variety. I know Cobra, on Jim's plot, he had a great harvest on his Cobra variety, but this, I do suggest this Blue Lake is pretty good as a dual purpose. You get some nice dried haricots, if you can get a decent amount planted and germinate. So if you don't, have them for fresh beans, you can use them as a dried haricot. So yeah, maybe try Blue Lake next year, Jim. Might send you some seed. Other than that, runner beans, very happy that these have germinated this year. Got a few coming on, harvested a good handful. I'll show you those at the end. But yeah, some good size ones. Didn't get any last year, so happy to have these. I do think if we can get a bit of manure this year, things like these beans and the like will get better harvests on them. Borlotti, again, very good. Plenty of that. Got a good store at home for, stews and, casseroles and the like. And Tuscan bean soup, so that's really firming out well, that. Very happy with those. Now we've had the cloches over the peppers, but I think they've struggled with not getting enough water to them a little bit. They have stunted, they've not really grown much, and I think they were also a little bit late in the ground. So I'm thinking this year, good trial. It was difficult to keep on top of the weeds, as you can tell. I think if we do get them all die off with the temperatures dropping, I think we'll probably reserve this for some winter salads. We've got a few germinating at home, which we'll probably come over and transplant and see if we can get a few. There's one little cheeky little fellow there, maybe. You see? Yeah. Ah, well. At least we've got one jalapeno this year. Not bad, though. Happy with the cloches. Got a few plans for spring in next year, so watch this space with how we'll be using these. Going to be using these a lot more in an organised fashion next year. Definitely got some plans with the broad beans and some other crops, so watch this space. Add some of the spare potatoes as well, which we'll harvest soon so we can free up these bags. I'm hoping to actually put some onions in these next year to clear this soil out which the potatoes have been in, because this is from the plot, and we'll get some onions in these, I think, next year. Try and avoid the root rot if we can. Now the Jerusalem artichokes have done well. They didn't flower, they've gone very tall. Not really flowered, unfortunately, so we've got a bit of green matter we can put back into the compost heap, so don't know what we've got in the way of harvests yet, but we'll see how that goes. And on here we've got the sort of we had the dwarf French beans, which were brilliant in here, very early crop, but I'm going to break this down, take the second pallet off, and so we can get a bit more light to these lettuces here. These are Tom Thumb and a little cos variety as well. Some nice radishes though, look there, they've germinated very well, not too thickly either. One of them is a Munchen beer, sort of Munich, I think beer Keller sort of snack variety. And again, look at this. Better germination on the self-seeded spinach under that brassica net than here. I mean, this is pretty poor. Very hit and miss on the germination on those spinach. Salad onions, not too bad. A little bit, few coming through. Don't think they'll last a great deal, but we'll see. Another little row of lettuce there, and then again some really nice, I think, sparkler variety of the radish there. Hopefully we'll get a bit of that before we finish the year. So not a bad tour so far. We've got quite a mess to clear up. I'm going to have a real go with this year. I think I'm thinking to drop this as beds in that direction and give them a good double dig, get rid of some of these weeds. It's far too difficult to keep on top of and tarp it as well. So maybe keep one or two seed beds here at the front low, so we can get some brassicas. I'll be able to net over the top of the seed bed, I think, which would be not a bad idea to keep the pigeons off and anything else. So we'll use these as seed beds I think, next year, and we'll use the in-ground beds for the dwarf French beans with the cloches on that organised system that we'll be using a bit more next year. So good old tidy up to be done over winter, but not too bad for September. Still taking harvests. Well, thanks again for watching on Beans, Brews and Bread. Hope you've liked the video. Do give it a thumbs up if you can. If you have any comments or suggestions, do write them below. What have you been doing in your garden this month? What plans have you got for the rest of autumn and going into winter? Are you going to be doing any digging? Are you going to be going no digging, putting a load of compost on top? Just tell us down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.